There is no argument that the COVID-19 pandemic has upended the aviation sector to unprecedented levels. Reports indicate that it will take years for the industry to bounce back. With government slowly easing on the lockdown restrictions, countries are, however, yet to decide on a template of travel amidst the COVID-19 crisis. Globally, airlines are working with the airline trade body International Air Transport Association to test a new travel pass. The system, which includes a mobile app, aims to allow passengers demonstrate COVID-19 vaccination and testing records, while also identifying testing and vaccination requirements for different locations and local testing centers accessible during travel. Locally, travel is slowly picking up. According to Vianney Luja, the spokesperson of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, there is an increase in aircraft movement at Entebbe International Airport.
These numbers have increased progressively because in the first part of resumption of passenger operations, that was October to December 2020, we were permitting only one flight per airline per day. When it came to January onwards, we allowed airlines to operate 2 flights per airline per day. But those with traffic have an opportunity to even operate more flights. But in spite of that, the passenger traffic is not yet at the level at which it was.
In fact, in January 2020, the airport handled 24,095 arriving passengers. In the same month, it handled 29,409 departing passengers, while 4,279 passengers transited through the airport. 58,000 metric tons of cargo were handled in 2020 compared to 42,000 metric tons handled in 2019.
Were sustained even during the lockdown. And during that time, many airlines reconfigured their commercial passenger aircraft to be able to handle cargo operations. So in the area of cargo, we registered an increase. But for the airport, the biggest revenue comes from passengers. So the fact that passenger traffic reduced and is still low means that the income is also affected the same way.
Cornwall Mlea, the CEO of Uganda Airlines, says the loads on the routes they currently operate so far look impressive.
In terms of passengers, some markets reacted quite well. We know for the route to Mogadishu, there we have very good loads. Our flight to South Sudan are also quite good, as well as Nairobi. The others, we have been adjusting frequencies in response to demand because the markets have not yet picked up. But generally, if we compare to the traffic levels before the pandemic, we are still a long way from what we used to see in those key areas. For the Africa region and East Africa, we are talking at least 30% of the traffic that used to fly here is what we are seeing now. So we are still looking to better times ahead.
However, Tewolde Gebremariam, the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, says for African airlines to stay afloat, governments must act.
Most airlines in Europe and America are getting bailout money from their governments, or they are accessing the capital market by selling bonds. But airlines in Africa do not have this opportunity. Their governments are not able to bail them out because of the very bad economic situations. There is no also capital market where they can access or debt or equity in either form. So it is very, very bad in Africa.
IATA is also engaging governments world over to consider those in the aviation sector as